Procurement can be referred as the action of purchasing product and assistance representing of their government. In Malaysia, the responsibility for this procedure, whether internal or external, are Minister of Finance. To ensure the procedure are followed by everyone, MOH has published guidelines book. This book has mentioned about procurement, management, compliance, monitoring, reconciliation, use, delivery, and storage for government agency. Through this journal, author stated that the example of any information stated from the guideline, which are the chain of purchasing for a small. Through this journal, the author also stated some of the problem and weakness in Malaysia public procurement. Firstly, tender can be explained as a document prepared by the government to invite to bid for project or to accept the offer in a formal way. Secondly, open tender are referring to competition between the entire contractor to win the tender that offered by the government. Thirdly, quotation is one of the important parts of procurement. Through the quotation, the organization can get the best value for money. Lastly, direct purchase. Direct purchase are the practice of buying or acquiring raw material, resource, product, and service that are used in company cooperation. First, procurement process, which are during the phase of the procurement process, unequally powerful danger of corruption. Second, weakness of the process. During the study, they found that each process of public procurement has their own risks, such as variation of the process or procedure was not enough. Also, lack of proper evaluation and inconsistent first-stage activities among the bidders. Thirdly, corruption in public procurement. Last but not least, misrepresentation of fact. This type of corruption happens when the bidder lied about their previous contract or they lied about their experience of handling project to get contract from the government. Solution. Number one, transparency is one of the important things that each organization must have to ensure and avoid corruption within the organization. Secondly, awareness procurement process. Awareness of public procurement category help to contribute to the method involved in the actual procurement of goods and services. Conclusion. We can say that public procurement are engaged with large sum of public money were used in public procurement and certainly extremely vulnerable to corruption. The purpose of these studies are to analyze the effect of procurement operation on the provision of healthcare in public health delivery system of Malawi. It seeks to establish the presence of drug overdose, to determine the incident, symptom, and cause of it. Despite being accessible in private hospital, the research was provoked by local media stories about drugs out in public healthcare delivery system. The study obtained data from 3 separate groups of personnel: patient care user, hospital manager, and procurement manager. Number 1, supply chain management. Supply chain management system. The definition of the supply chain is described as a way to provide to consumer with all the steps taken from start to finish in order to produce good or service. Number 2, procurement and healthcare delivery. As service cannot be created for storage purposes, the manufacturers consider waiting for customer as a solution. Number 1, healthcare inventory management. Even though inventory is the important aspect, studies argue that one of the greatest problems for SCM in healthcare control is cost control while fulfilling consumer requirements. Number 2, logistic for medicines. This journal stated that a long system of public distribution has also been one of the factors affecting supplies of medicine and thus the delivery of health products. Number 3, aspect of procurement affecting healthcare delivery. Some study mention that supply chains management (SCM) is unique system because sometimes it is very difficult to transfer expertise from the manufacturing sector to the health sector directly. Number 1, enhancing healthcare inventory management. Healthcare inventory management system show that inventory management is one of the important aspects in procurement that has a significant impact on the provision of healthcare service. Number 2, shorten of length public distribution system. Studies suggested that the condition of supply chains can affect on access to drugs is available, affordable, and appropriate. Number 3, customer-focused healthcare service. Customers are worried about the willingness of healthcare providers to treat their ailments while protecting their best interests at the lowest possible cost. Number 1, frequency of stock out of drugs. Even though there are different results, this study agreed that stock out did happen. Number 2, effect of stock out. First, effect of stock out are causing death of the patient. Secondly, stock out in hospital bring overcrowding. Thirdly, stock out delay medical surgery. Number 3, causes of stock out. First, causes of stock out are delays by procurement staff. Secondly, lack of funds at hospital level. To conclude, the above results have shown that the occurrence of stock out and consequently the delayed delivery of healthcare have contributed to internal and external factors in procurement function.
Assalamualaikum and hi Sir Nazri. So I'm Nina Kila from EPJJ M110 are going to explain about my article. This is the journal based on the article of public sector procurement, the effectiveness of monitoring mechanism. Through this journal, the author state that the problems in public sector procurement has been increasing recently. Every year, the Auditor General has been put on the spotlight of the issues that related to non-compliance or known as frauds. So some of the things that have been emphasized are the effectiveness of procurement procedure and the function of the internal auditor regarding the problems in public procurement. The procedure that has been used is internal control. The Community of Sponsoring Organization, COSO, define internal control as a process in achieving effectiveness and efficiency of operation, reliability of financial reporting, and compliance with laws and regulations. Internal control has been considered as the first line of defense in an organization, as well to detect and prevent fraud issues. It is an important mechanism to highlight the behavior of the employees in an organization, especially for the civil servants. However, there are some problems faced by the procedures. The first one is internal controls can be ineffective through collusion between external and external parties. It is unable to detect non-compliance and fraud issues. The existence of internal controls cannot prevent fraud and corruption in the public sector. Therefore, there are some actions taken to solve this issue. The research strategy has been conducted, and the data was distributed through a structured questionnaire. It was distributed to the employees in 3 divisions within the Ministry of Home Affairs, which were involved in the procurement process. The question was sent through email and by hand, and after 2 weeks, a follow-up telephone call was made as the reminder of the respondents. In the procurement system, the participants were needed to give information such as gender, age, working experience, service, group or position level, and roles. Moreover, there are 3 divisions in the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is the Procurement Division, Finance Division, and Development Division. For the report finding, there are 100 questionnaires were allocated to the public officers from 3 divisions. However, only 70 responses were filled and written, and the result of the response rate is only 70%. The result shows that most of the respondents are female employees, that includes 68.6% of the total respondents, while only 31.4% were male respondents. There were no respondents aged 50 and above, and there were no respondents from the top management group. Furthermore, the result shows that no job rotation in the high-risk area, and this led to public procurement issues in terms of non-compliance and fraud. Conclusion: the top 5 factors that are associated with procurement issues in the public sector is no job rotation in high-risk areas, management override of control, lack of top management support, poor segregation of duties, and inadequate continuous monitoring by management. Hence, improving procurement procedures and upholding the role of internal auditors must be executed by government departments and agencies in order to detect procurement issues in the public sector. Thank you. Hi, it's me again, Nina. So, I'm going to explain about my second article. This is the analysis based on the article of the effectiveness of e-procurement system in reducing lobbyist involvement in public procurement. Through this journal, the authors state there are many countries that involved in corruption that represents a major leakage of public funds. As a result, the Malaysian government has established the e-procurement system. E-procurement system is implemented effectively in the largest statutory body that known as ACED ASEP. The procedure that has been used in this article is e-procurement system, and it is an electronic procurement system, and the system flow is easier to understand. So, an interview had been conducted to gather the response from the participants, and they are being asked to explain the process involved the system itself. The system begins with the user requesting goods or service that they want to buy. Next, they need to fill out the standard form and then transfer the information into the system. The next one is the financial system is being checked by the procurement officer. Later, it usually takes 3 to 7 days before the invitation is issued period ended. The payment procedure will be proceed after the completion of all the renegotiation process with the order. However, there are some problems when using this e-procurement system. That is, there are possibility for the lobbyists to be involved in the procurement process is high if the officers cannot be accountable and does not have a high level of integrity in performing their tasks. Furthermore, it could include the intermediate parties or lobbyists who offer to get valuable data from the procurement, such as bribe the officer. It is a market who control the price and can reveal the price to the competitors. The action that being taken to solve this issue is there are 6 officers from the largest statutory body procurement and 5 suppliers of a particular Malaysian agriculture R&D agencies were invited to being interviewed face to face. They were divided into two groups and being interviewed face to face. And they are being asked how the effectiveness of the procurement system was discovered in public procurement. That is whether intervention can be reduced and the involvement of lobbies in the public procurement. Based on the report finding, the employees at every responsible center made very minimal use of the system. This happened because the employees still stick up to old and traditional system. It was agreed that the management save both cost and time and reducing the usage of paper in preparing the documentation for purchasing of goods and service. In addition, e-procurement system did not have intervention of human or face-to-face communication with the suppliers. In conclusion, there are no chance for the lobbies to involve in the system as the system has no human interventions. The system also very fast and transparent compared to the traditional system. Furthermore, it also gives advantage to them and boost up the business and also the competition. That's all from me. Thank you, sir, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Hello and Assalamualaikum sir. This is my video presentation prepared by me, Sarati binti Imran, and prepared for Sir Nazri Wahid. Okay, in this presentation, I want to explain my article. Firstly is transparency in public procurement process, a case study of Swedish public procurement process in the consultancy market. And then article 2 is a political influence in public procurement, balancing between legality and illegality. Okay, firstly, introduction of the article 1. The public like government, agency or other authority in this article, I will finding is as authority that something we can have to use the certain rules. For the example, public agents that will be easy not going to outside to buy whatever service or product on the market, but they have a private agent. And then research of article 1 is a procedure of public procurement is to evaluate the procurement process in the case of arrangement agreement on service consulting and more focus on searching the respective procurement step by step of retailer and procurers. And then the problem of in article 1 is that I can finding firstly is a big customer group in the US would be strong to reaching for a supplier as they don't know whether rules and regulation concerning a public procurement work. And then the solution that I can finding in the article 1 is more focused on the procurement rules, regulation of the concerning and public procurement works, and then increase the Public Procurement Act. For the example, like the law on procurement in the like water, energy, transport, and postal service sector. Okay, then report finding that I have finding in this article is that as you can see in the procurement of a transparency in public procurement process, a case study a Swedish public procurement process in the consultant market. At first finding is what a difficult step in the process that government agency. And here that I found the actor in the process to being straightforward and quick to learn. And then the conclusion that I finding is process is sent to be transparent. For example, the tender would like to see more room for communication and discussion throughout the process, and the review of the requirement could be done to further open the market for new and innovative firms. Okay, then end of the explanation about article 1, and then the next article is article 2. Okay, then the introduction of the Article 2 is estimate and damage and corruption on public procurement on the European Union. Procurement irregularities are one of the because administrative and financial correction to cut finding the procurement rule established that UA. For example, like a way to enhance the transparency, and then the research method in Article 2. In this article that I can research is to understanding that effect of the integrity is anti-corruption of the collective toll for the public procurement of UN fund. For the example like civil society, organization, business, and contract. And then the problem in the Article 2 that I can find is firstly is corruption, 2 is political and social damage, 3 environment damage, and 4 economic damage. Okay, the solution of the problem that I can finding in this article is to improve the EU procurement rules. The rules aim to simplify rules and make the procurement system to be more efficient. And then report finding in Article 2 is in this article I found integrated tax experience in the term efficiency for the example like the authority company procurement project. Okay, then the conclusion on the Article 2 is European Commission selects 17 projects in 11 member states. 15 civil society organizations will be involved in the UA project that can be improved the UA procurement rules. Okay, and then end of my presentation article. Thank you to sir for listening my present.
Hello, my name is Josephine Angelina, and today I will be presenting to you a video about 2 journals that I had reviewed. The 2 journals that I had chosen to review is The Benefits and Challenges of E-Procurement Implementation, a case study of Malaysian company, and Effectiveness of E-Procurement in Malaysia. For journal The Benefits and Challenges of E-Procurement Implementation, a case study of Malaysian company, it is written by 5 authors. In this paper, the benefits and challenges embedded in electronic procurement are highlighted, specifically the benefits of introducing e-procurement for tendering and online registration of businesses and companies in Malaysia was emphasized. The study highlighted e-procurement advantages such as cost reduction, improved efficiency in government businesses with the aid of internet-based information and communication technology. The study concluded with recommendations to policymakers to pay more attention to the availability of infrastructure such as information technology for a better e-procurement implementation. As for the second journal, Effectiveness of E-Procurement in Malaysia, it is written by 2 authors. This journal is being conducted based on the previous studies on e-procurement in Malaysia, which were focused on the implementation of the system within the industrial sector and studies on the impact of internally developed systems that are lacking. Since there is not many studies about e-procurement system that is developed internally by Malaysian organizations, the initiative taken by TM Berhad to develop its own e-procurement system internally is considered a wise step. As such, this study aimed to identify several issues affect the efficiency in e-procurement system in Malaysia. Knowing and understanding the e-procurement system are the first steps to motivate companies to implement the system. Thus, it is important that these studies are being carried out to investigate the practice and performance of the e-procurement systems that are developed internally by an organization and identify the difficulties faced. This study is also appropriate to understand the problems faced throughout the implementation of the e-procurement system. The survey results suggest that e-procurement technologies will become an important part of supply chain management and that the rate of adoption will accelerate as aggressive adopters share their experiences and perceptions of low risk. The research proved that the factors affecting the success of e-procurement system sharing between supply chain integration, information sharing, and partner relationship. Based on the understanding those factors, the research provides suggestions on how to improve e-procurement system in TM Berhad. Thank you.
Article number 9. The rules of compliance with government procurement policies, moderating the effect between explanatory factors and sustainable public procurement practice. So in this study discuss about the cases of non-compliance, irregularity and fraud is in the government procurement still persists, although compliance with government procurement policy GPP is mandated by regulation. Complying with procurement standard by law does not necessarily succeeding in implementation of procurement best practices. And in this paper investigates the moderating impact of compliance with the GPP on the relationship between the explanatory factors and current sustainable public procurement SPP practice in Malaysia in a comprehensive single framework. A survey questionnaire were administered to 104 government organizations and 177 responses were received from procurement officers. Based on the hierarchical multiple regression analysis, the anticipated outcome of this study is the extent to which the procurement compliance does not guarantee the implementation of SPP practices. The result of this study have provided some explanation regarding the extent of compliance with GPP on the relationship between the explanatory factor and SPP practice. Article number 10. In this article discuss the United States government procurement of medical supply and equipment during COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges posed by COVID-19 to United States procurement system. In this article also examine how the United States government, the private sector and non-profit organizations are working together to address procurement challenges. This article notes that the global pandemic has drained the strategic national stockpile of medical supply and equipment and that the United States is struggling to meet the demand of these critical sources. The good news is that the United States government is partnering with the private sector to ramp up the much needed supply. And this article underscores the need of the United States government to continue to look for efficient and productive way to procure necessary medical supply and equipment that are essential for health care professionals and those affected by the COVID-19. This article offers some recommendations to improve United States procurement system and outlines an agenda for future research. Thank you for watching, Sir Me, and on behalf of my friend would like to say thank you very much for your teaching, and we are looking forward to become your student in future. And last but not least, take care and have a nice day.